Oh my god, the memories I have with this movie. This movie came out on my birthday, May 25th, back in 2007, 10 years ago. It was my 12th birthday party. Me and a bunch of friends went to a special theater in Hollywood called the El Capitan to watch this movie, and it was awesome. Easily one of the best birthday parties of my life. I still have the ticket stub. That's real. Man, good times. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. So At World's End is a continuation from Dead Man's Chest that came out the following year, and I'm gonna spoil the end of Dead Man's Chest, so for those of you who haven't seen it, go watch that. At the end of Dead Man's Chest, Jack Sparrow took down the Kraken, and the boat sank, and now he is in Davy Jones' locker. For all intents and purposes, he's dead. But the crew of the Black Pearl still has Davy Jones and Cutler Beckett to deal with, so we gotta go get Jack Sparrow back. So to lead that charge, we have the return of Geoffrey Rush as Hector Barbossa. Yes, Tia Dalma has brought him back from the dead. And I love Barbossa in this film. He is like the pirate to end all pirates. He is the epitome of all pirates. So since Jack brought the Black Pearl down with him to Davy Jones' locker, the crew of the ship needs a new ship and a new crew. So they go to Singapore and they meet Sao Fang. And this is like the first half hour of the film, just going to Singapore and dealing with all that shit and getting the crew and a fight with the East India Trading Company. And once they get their crew, they go to Davy Jones' locker, and like the scene where they are just on that waterfall, on that precipice, and they just fall over the edge. It's the most scary shit you've ever seen. The whole crew is like screaming for their lives, and Barbossa's just laughing at the wheel. That's how I see him as the epitome of all pirates. He's just laughing. That Barbossa laugh. It sounds like an evil laugh. He's a pirate. Then it falls down the waterfall, and then we get to see how Jack Sparrow's doing, and he's kind of losing his mind a little bit. I mean, more than usual. When we first see him in this film, he's hallucinating a crew on the Black Pearl, and it's all Jack Sparrow's. How Johnny Depp had the patience to film each and every one of those individual performances, I'll never know. But I just remember it being the funniest thing. I remember, this is like one of the first audience reactions I remember, is when we see Jack Sparrow's face in this film for the first time. He's like ready to eat the peanut, and the camera pans up to his face, and then the audience around me just cheered. I remember that from 10 years ago. I'm telling you, it was a special day. So the crew meets up with Jack, they get out of Davy Jones' locker, and now we have all this shit to deal with. All this shit being Davy Jones is still pissed off, and we explore all of his backstory in this film, and it's actually a pretty legit story, having to do with the sea goddess Calypso, which is actually pulled from legitimate mythology. It's really cool. And all these pieces of eight that were used to bind her in human form by the Brethren Court, which is a group of the highest ranking pirates from around the world. Like, think White Lotus from Avatar: The Last Airbender, only they're pirates. So while Jack Sparrow and Barbossa and the crew of the Black Pearl are dealing with all this shit, and we still have Will and Elizabeth's love story, at a point we have all these characters making deals with each other and scheming. Last time I watched this, I was like, this is like Game of Thrones. It gets pretty complex, I have to admit, but not too complex. I mean, yeah, first time I saw the movie, I was turning 12. I probably couldn't follow a lot of it, but watching it now, I'm like, nah, this is legit. And yeah, this movie is pretty damn long. This is like 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's probably the longest Disney movie ever. You gotta sit down and invest your time in it. It's not a casual watch, but it does get pretty epic wrapping up everyone's stories. One character whose story arc I really appreciated in this film is Elizabeth Swann. You really see how far her character has come since the beginning of the first movie. She's like a completely different person. She's now completely on the side of the pirates. She wants to rally them up to fight against the East India Trading Company, to the point where she just gets up on the rail of a ship and starts giving this speech. Some choose to see it as lame. I choose not to see it that way because I always think to myself, wow, that character has come pretty far. And so they take the fight to Davy Jones and his crew and the East India Trading Company with Cutler Beckett, and it all pretty much results in this huge maelstrom scene at the end. I mean, epic is really the word to describe this here. This scene is just enormous. Everyone's fighting, everyone's trying to kill each other, trying to stab the heart of Davy Jones. Who's gonna do it? I don't know, but whoever does do it has to take his place as captain of the Flying Dutchman and ferry souls that die at sea to the other side. So a lot of high stakes here in this end fight, and the resolution to this is just fantastic. It's pretty much like the perfect way to end everyone's stories. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it here, I'm just gonna tell you it's really good. Just a solid wrap up. And don't even get me started on the score. The score for this film, once again done by Hans Zimmer, is just beyond epic. It's the most epic shit you've ever heard. I mean, there's a really strong love theme for Will and Elizabeth, and the scene where they're escaping from Davy Jones' locker with the whole up is down thing, that music is epic as hell. I'm telling you, it's great. So Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End is a solid wrap up to this two-parter. The way I see 2 and 3 in Pirates of the Caribbean is, imagine like a TV season that's pretty much just episodic. It's like episode after episode, and then there's that two-parter that's actually pretty relevant to the season. That's how I see Dead Man's Chest and At World's End for Pirates of the Caribbean. But they're different enough from each other so that they can be appreciated separately. That's how you do it in a film series. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for this film. Great story, great characters, great resolution, great writing, great action, great score. Go watch this movie. It's awesome. After you watch Dead Man's Chest. After you watch Curse of the Black Pearl. So Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Have you seen it? Have you watched it recently? How does it rank among all the Pirates of the Caribbean films for you? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.